everybody? It is another episode of Rig for Dirt with Ali and Frank. And let me tell you guys, thank you. Thank you so much for listening right now, and thank you so much for all the kind words and the good feedback that we received after our first episode. It was awesome.
Yeah, we got some really good feedback that people have reached out to us on Instagram, in person. It's been really well received. That doesn't go without saying that we can make things better.
Oh no,
right?
That's absolutely right.
We're definitely not stopping there. We're not like going to take it as we're done, we're good.
Yeah, we got some work to do.
Right.
Yep.
But we're definitely we're inspired, right? We're motivated.
Oh, absolutely. And we are here at King of the Hammers.
Yes. If you're wondering why it's so noisy, it's because, as we told you in the last podcast, it was our goal to get out, explore, adventure, and then record the podcast live from where we are. And in this particular instance, it happens to be a loud place where we are. King of the Hammers.
Yeah, so we mentioned that we were going to be doing this in episode 1, and we delivered.
Oh, and you know what? Props to Rebel Off-Road.
That's right. Well, we are actually on the side of their trailer right now.
Yeah, they're letting us use some of their space for this podcast. Both of us have had work done at Rebel Off-Road, so we've got a good relationship with those guys.
And their beer.
And their beer. Yeah,
that's right.
They've offered to top off our red cups as needed for the podcast. So super stoked, and huge props to those guys. Like I said, they do great work. They've done work for both of us.
Good people, good
friends. Yep. They've become friends over the last couple of years, just from being in and out of their shop. They're good to shoot the shit, but they're even better to do work.
Yeah, I'm actually working on the video. We filmed the RIP supercharger going into the Jeep.
Oh, that's right.
Total plug, I know, but it's what happened, okay? So it's just factual reality in my world. So
Right.
I'm not trying to sponsor plug left and right, but it's going to happen, so just deal with it.
Got all these ATVs
That's going to happen all night.
Yeah. So if you haven't been to King of the Hammers, it's like... So this is my first time, full disclosure.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Like, it is everything that you've heard about it being a city, literally a city. We're looking at a mountainside ahead of us that literally looks like the toll road. It looks like the 241 coming down into Irvine.
Driving in, it looks like you're driving into a town.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, and even right now, there's like all these pre-runners and Baja trucks and buggies and side-by-sides. And then there's like the occasional like Subaru and RAV4. There's a Nissan Frontier right now in front of us. Like, you name it.
It's like, left and right, all kinds of rigs, all kinds of trucks.
And then the toy haulers. I mean, and the RVs. Wow.
Yeah, I always love seeing those Super Duties with the racks on the top with the razors, the razor ramps, and they're just like carrying around the razor on top
on the roof.
Yeah. Center of gravity, nothing.
It's definitely a different world, for sure. Like, not one that I think either one of us have played much in. So, coming from a more off-road, overlanding kind of world, this is like everything at once.
Totally, dude. You are in Hammertown.
Yeah, Hammertown. So getting here was an ordeal.
Yeah.
Right? Because we came basically right from work, and then we had to find Kate.
Oh, that was an ordeal.
Yeah.
You want to talk about ordeals? That was that Parker moment where you're like, oh, our plan is not going according to plan.
It's when we realized that Hammertown was literally a town and not just, your average trade show where you're going to walk in and here's the vendor area.
You're going to know where the vendors are. Yeah, no.
No, this place is gigantic.
One wrong turn and you're probably driving for a solid 20 minutes in the wrong direction of where you want to be.
Doesn't help that we showed up at night too. Like, that definitely didn't help our situation. But anyways, so we went in there. We're looking around, asking random people if they know where the KC booth is. And we got some guidance.
A little bit.
And
you met a friend.
Yeah, I met an FJ buddy. Like, this guy came out and he was just like super fired up to see another FJ.
There's only so many of you.
Right. I think he said there was 5 here. He's like, there's 5. He's counted them. He's like, there's 5. And he was showing me pictures of his drawer system that he built, his suspension. He was showing me all these pictures. It was like looking at someone's baby.
Lots of love.
Yeah.
Well, listen, so before we really get into it, one thing I want to kind of throw out there, since we are starting out and it's important for us to build up our network, is, if you guys would just go on Facebook or Instagram and follow Rig for Dirt, we'd appreciate it.
Yep.
We're just trying to, we're trying to get the word out, and we're trying to build this up. So you guys are all part of that.
Yep. Exactly.
Man, it is gonna be nonstop tonight, I think.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome
with all these rigs.
but they're just so fun to watch. I wish you guys could see what we're seeing. Like, it's like watching a parade of all of the most amazing builds you've ever seen, you know? And then some that are just like, what were you thinking? But like Ollie said, you know, some quick housekeeping. Follow Instagram, follow Facebook. Most importantly, check out the website, riggedfordirt.com. There's a bunch of different places that you can check us out. Yep, we both put some effort into that for you guys, so definitely check that out. And lastly, your feedback, right? Your feedback is important to us. We have an email address, info@riggedfordirt.com, so feel free to drop us a line, suggestions, feedback, or just to say what's up.
So these guys don't want to hear all that. These guys want to hear about our trip, right?
Yes.
Not just this one, but we've actually done a couple things since the last time we talked to you guys, and part of that was wrapping up our Calico trip. We were kind of in the middle of it when we did episode 1, and then we've had a couple of adventures since. But yeah, so that recap on Calico. So we kind of struck camp, and then we headed over to the ghost town.
That's right. That was my first time going to the ghost town, and
We had to do that tourist thing.
yeah, we did the tourist thing. We walked. We drove in, parked the trucks, went for a little bit of a walk through the ghost town. I gotta say, it was much better than I expected. Like, the buildings looked amazing. They were really
That's
restored.
not very farm for you.
Yeah, seriously, it was impressive. The train that we took a little train ride. It was, look, you guys are gonna make so much fun of us, but I swear
My kids were jealous.
We were like little kids. There was like 5 of us, and we're like in this little like half-size miniature train, and we're just all geeking out watching like all the mines. This guy's telling a whole story as we're doing this, right? It's all narrated, telling us this whole story about the mining operations and, you know, how they lived and the camps and all this different stuff, and we're geeking out like a bunch of little kids.
Yeah, so we did the ghost town, and I think the big part of telling you guys about Calico is to kind of impart the fact that it's not just this stretch of BLM land where you can go shoot some guns, camp out, and, you know, ride your toys. It's also got a lot of cool things around it, and they're not your common things, right? So one piece was the Calico Ghost Town, which was kind of established by the people behind Knott's Berry Farm. They kind of transplanted some buildings, just built up this town. It was actually based on an actual mining town. Something to the effect of $86 million worth of silver was pulled out from that area,
Right.
So a lot of history there. It's definitely one of those stops you'd want to take the kids to, or take yourself and your girlfriend to, or the wife, whatever. Like, it is actually a worthwhile stop. They've got this great bar. Yeah, whatever. It always goes back to booze with me. I don't care. They got this great bar with an awesome outdoor patio that overlooks, like, you know, the rest of the area. I mean, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, the bar kind of overlooks a valley, and it's got this really cool deck, and it overlooks this kind of whole valley. It's really nice. And then after we did that, we broke off. Brian and Olaf and myself, we took a section of old Route 66, and we took that all the way back into Victorville, and that was super cool. I haven't been on that road in forever, and to see some of those old stretches is pretty awesome. And then, but you actually doubled back.
Oh, dude, I went ham.
And
right.
I wish we would have had time to do
I wish
that.
you guys would have stayed.
I know.
with me. Because I'm like, these losers just left. I'm actually going to do some wheeling. And I ended up taking Mule Canyon Road, which was on the backside of where we were camped. And I mean, I can't even say how much I was missing you guys, because this road that went in the back, like, snaked itself like through so many different valleys. I mean, you guys would have loved it. And so many little alcoves were like, people were setting up like shooting ranges. Some guys had like balloons up. There was a whole like camp out there with like a bunch of like, I don't know, 12-year-old kids like learning how to shoot for the first. There was like a lot going on out there, and automatic gunfire would erupt, which was interesting. Yeah. Check those guys out.
Side-by-side
There
armies
are some
coming through.
built-out Can-Ams
these things
here.
are nuts.
This is awesome. It is so cool to see these guys
Yes.
cruising through. Yep.
These things are badass.
That is rad. Side-by-sides and singles. Yeah,
Yep.
that's rad.
Just a parade of neon whips.
Yeah, neon whips. That's going to be the title of our next episode, is Neon Whip.
Neon whips.
So anyways, I ended up getting past those, like, you know, groups, and I ended up in kind of like just more like crazy terrain and windswept valleys and windswept like tunnels, like arches. It was gorgeous. And then at one point I found a pretty cool mine, and we'll throw some pictures on the website. But it was a little sketchy, and I was like so gun ho, and I grabbed my flashlight, grabbed my GPS, which I don't think would have helped me in the tunnels, and I was like charging in there, and I got 20 feet in before I'm like, what the, what am I doing right now? I turned around, got back outside, took some pictures like a proper overlander, and called it a day. But it was fun. I did some cool terrain out there. I definitely think that when we go up next year, we're gonna make that part of our itinerary.
Yeah, I think we need to make another trip out there and take some other people with us. That place has actually a lot more to offer than your average person would think. And then the really cool thing too is if it's in a part of like the desert or the countryside, not the countryside. It's in a part of the desert that a lot of us travel through to get to other places. Whether you're going to Death Valley or you're going to Nevada, or you're going even to like Arizona, we passed through that, and there were some gems out there that are definitely worth stopping at, whether you're traveling alone or with your significant other. And one of those that blew my mind, I've never seen it. Some of you guys have probably seen the giant sundae on the side of the highway called Eddie's World.
Eddie World.
Or, yeah, Eddie World. Not
even Eddie's World. Just Eddie World.
Eddie World.
Just so bizarre.
It's a giant sundae on the side of the highway, and I'm telling you, you walk into this place and it's like Wonka World. Like it's nuts.
Every candy known to man.
Jerky, like everything, drinks.
There's a Pete's coffee.
Like, there's everything in this place. But more important than any
more
of that,
importantly, more importantly,
like the coup de grace of this whole thing is the fact that it has the most immaculate bathrooms I've ever seen. Like they are spotless, and as if that wasn't enough, they have heated seats on the toilets.
Yeah,
like,
it was.
What the hell?
It was a trip, and I would say if you're trying to get out there with like your wife who maybe doesn't really partake in the hole in the ground, well, just tell her there's the most amazing bathrooms just a mile away.
Exactly.
At Eddie World.
Eddie World. Even if you're just driving to Vegas and you need a midway point, Eddie World.
Who would have known?
Yeah. And then the second gem was we wrapped up.
Dude, Peggy Sue's.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, dude, you want breakfast?
This diner is
unbelievable.
Is out of control.
The sweetest ladies too.
Out of control. Yeah. It's like when I say diner, it is like a straight up time machine. Like it's a capsule. This place is like preserved like it probably was 70 years ago. And but the food is amazing.
I got pictures of that place too.
Yeah. Yeah, the food's like out of control. Like you can't go wrong. I wanted to order like 4 different plates, but obviously I couldn't because each plate was gigantic.
Yeah. No, I mean it is awesome. The food quality is amazing. They don't really give you any cuss about like trying to modify your orders.
Oh yeah.
Everything's super clean.
Bring it on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
The coffee, delicious. The eggs, done perfectly.
Right.
Everything. I had the country fried chicken or the country fried steak.
So just to put it in perspective, like from our campsite to Eddie World to Peggy Sue's, this was all within a few mile radius.
Yeah, it was like a 2 mile radius.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're ever considering like where you could go and you're local to like the Orange County, LA, Riverside area, like Calico,
totally doable.
That whole area is like it's pretty awesome. It's pretty legit.
Yeah, totally doable.
Shoot your guns. Camp out.
Enjoy your rig. Camp out.
Heated toilets.
Go wash up.
Right.
It's fantastic. So there's your tip for the podcast. Your desert gem.
So after I left, I got back on the road. I had to drive straight up to Vegas for the 2019 SHOT Show. And a lot of you guys will know all about SHOT Show, but for those of you that don't, it is basically the world's, I think it's like one of the world's largest law enforcement, gun, apparel, tactical, whatever. Everything having to do with like guns, tactical apparel, gear, body armor, less than lethal, super lethal, whatever. It's all there. Every company has a presence. including 511. So I was taking a Jeep up for 511 to go display her over at the 511 store out there in Vegas, off of Dean Martin. And I ended up doing 3 events for 511. And then our sister company, Beyond Clothing, they actually they put me up at their hotel that they rented out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I had the Jeep parked out front of the hotel the entire time. It was the Artisan Boutique Hotel. It was pretty cool. That place was a trip.
Those are nice. Those are nice places.
Yeah,
I like those places.
it was awesome. And so that was my week over at SHOT Show. One of the best events though was the operator event, where you're talking about some super high speed, like highly trained defenders of our freedom. At this one event at 511 was basically we hosted them. We built we got a guy, Chris Schneider. He cooked up an amazing meal of like brisket. Like, he's famous for this stuff.
Oh, wow.
Just cooked for like hundreds of people. The alcohol was flowing, the food was amazing, and just talking to these guys, it was awesome. Just puts life in perspective, gives you a lot of appreciation for the liberties you have and the freedoms you have. And it was awesome seeing these guys come to the Jeep, check her out, talk to me, engage, sit on the ladder for the tent, get in the tent. I mean, they were like kids again, like kind of geeking out on this stuff. I was so stoked to be part of that.
Yeah, that place is like a candy store. I mean, if you're into that, like if that's your thing and you want and
SHOT Show, yeah,
it's crazy. It's just like a giant candy store, and man, like I've been to SHOT Show a couple times, and it's everything you can imagine. Especially like
bullet manufacturers, like
military level stuff that you can never buy, but you can definitely look at up close right there and
right.
have some fun with it.
Well, the coolest thing I think was range day, which was the first day I was out there. It was a media range day, and basically every gun manufacturer had their latest, greatest, and tried and true firearms on display and available to shoot. So
what did you try? Did you try some?
Oh yeah. What were my favorites?
Yeah.
Mossberg was cool. They came out with a new like compact handgun, and they're known for like their shotguns.
Their shotguns. Yeah, yep. I have one actually.
Yeah, so they came into the handgun the market. So that was cool. But of course, my favorite is Glock. They had a couple new models out there.
Yeah.
And as usual, like just how they set everything up and their attention and the way they kind of guide you through all their offerings is awesome. So I got to shoot the 43. That was probably my favorite of the event. And then one other standout was the EOTech booth, which they're an optics company, and
okay.
And like you had to be blind and dizzy not to hit your target with these guys. And they don't sponsor me. I don't own an EOTech, but it was just like me and my buddy Craig, who we were doing the social coverage for 511. Yeah. We were like laughing, like giddy laughing, like shooting these rifles, because it was so stupid how accurate and how on target you were, and kind of scary if you were to ever think about being on the opposite end of that kind of
yeah,
technology.
I don't want to think about that.
Nope. But anyway, so that was SHOT Show.
Nice.
It was pretty cool.
Nice. Well, my adventures have not been as adventurous. For me, it's been OC Rigs and Coffee. Right. That was a big one.
I got out to that. That was a cool.
You know what? It was actually doing pretty good
for
rain-wise.
the weather.
Yeah, it was raining decently on Saturday. Like that was the weekend that this is last weekend, and it was the forecast was basically rain all weekend, and we had some good breaks, so it wasn't like we were getting poured on the whole time. But man, the turnout, I loved it. Rain don't care, man. They were just like, I'm gonna show up.
It's off-road.
Exactly, and I love it. I love that it was just like I got a bunch of messages on the OC Rigs and Coffee Instagram saying, hey, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? And I told everyone, hey, rain or shine, it's going to happen. I mean, if we can't handle a little rain, then I don't know what we're doing.
Right.
So it was huge turnout. It was fantastic. I'll post some pictures of that too. We also did a coffee class. Steelhead
Coffee.
I
missed that.
Yeah, Steelhead Coffee. They host us, right? So for those who don't know, they host us.
Laguna Hills, California.
Yeah, in Laguna Hills. They have a few locations, but we go to the Laguna Hills ones, and they open up specifically for us on Saturday, which is awesome.
So rad.
So rad.
First Saturday of every month.
Yeah, exactly. And so there were, I threw out the idea of having a coffee class. Reason being is that I, drink a ton of coffee. I caffeinate like a madman. And so, but one of the things that I tend to do is I tend to I'll go to places to get coffee. I rarely make my own coffee, and part of that's because I've just messed it up too much to the point where I just don't typically enjoy it. So Nick from Steelhead came out, and he's their master kind of brewer barista, right? And he's responsible for kind of picking the blends that they bring in, their offerings at Steelhead.
That's awesome.
And then he's also responsible for training all the baristas and kind of showing them how to brew a consistently good cup of coffee and, dial all of that in, right? So what we got was kind of a taste of the factors that contribute and that control a really good blend of coffee.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm bummed I missed that one because it sounded pretty informative.
Yeah, and I mean, like, things that I would have never thought of. I mean, obviously, kind of the basic principles, right? Hot water, coffee grinds, you get coffee, right? And so, but what he explained to us is that coffee it should fundamentally, like, if you make good coffee and you do it properly, it should be sweet and full of flavor, like very rich, right? And so that's one of the things that personally I really haven't experienced in a super long time. I usually have to modify my coffees, right? Like I have to add sugar, I have to add cream, right, to really make those things taste good, right? So he brought us out these samples of coffee, one that was underbrewed, one that was overbrewed,
that's cool,
and one that was perfect. And we tasted the first one that was underbrewed, and it was a little bitter, but all of us were like, this is actually not bad. This is like the coffee that I drink. And so that he was just like, oh, you guys, it's terrible, right? and then
you guys.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you poor plebs. Like, you guys don't even know. And so then, we tried the overbrewed coffee, and it kind of was, so it tasted kind of bland. And, underbrewed coffee tastes very bitter, right? Acidic and bitter. People don't usually like that flavor, right? But it's kind of like what you stomach, or you kind of muster up to drink it. And then overbrewed coffee tastes very flat, like it's missing flavor, kind of hollow, right? And when it's done just right, it's got this very sweet, vibrant, flavorful, rich kind of taste to it. And so that's where you want to be, right? And what it really comes down to is two principles that I can break down for you right now if you're listening. There's two basic principles. The size of the grind.
Okay, yeah, I hear that a lot.
Which is basically your surface area, right? So that directly correlates to how quickly you'll be able to extract flavor.
It's about the size.
Right. It definitely is. And that's also going to be dictated partially by the device that you're using, right? AeroPress, French press,
right.
Pour over, right? So you want to pick the grind for the device, right? So that you don't get a bunch of gunk in your coffee when you're done. The second thing is the amount of water and how quickly that water passes through the grind.
Interesting.
Right? So if it passes too quickly, it's underbrewed, so it gets bitter. If it passes too slow, it's overbrewed and it's hollow and dull. If it passes just right, it's sweet and delicious. So now you know. It's that simple. So, and you can do this. So basically, you can regulate this, right, across any system. So if you just kind of play with those two mixtures, then you can consistently brew delicious coffee. And you don't have to get into that craziness of, oh, is it the right temperature? Is my water exactly this temperature? Is my water pure and triple filtered through reverse osmosis? And yeah, exactly. You don't have to mess with any of that.
Hey man, I put the pot in, I push the button, and I get my cup, okay?
You should have seen him when we told him that we use Keurigs. He was just like, no! He was so bummed. But even then, right, you can buy those reusable pods and you can do this and it works, right? You just pick the right grind and,
I have started to take my AeroPress to work. We do have a 5-digit dollar value espresso machine.
Oh, I do remember that. I have actually used it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty solid espresso machine.
And filtration system.
But I'm the douchebag with my AeroPress at work saying, you want a cup of coffee? I've got my AeroPress. You want a cup of coffee?
You're the one that brings your camp kit
to
work.
Hey guys, anybody want coffee? It's like single origin.
Single origin, this guy.
I just think it's fancy. I like it.
Yeah.
It's a damn good cup of coffee on that
Totally.
AeroPress.
So I was totally blown away. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that's that crazy about the coffee, but I kind of feel like most of us drink a lot of coffee. And I've never gone on a trip with anybody where there wasn't like a ton of coffee being brewed in the morning. And I kind of realized how a lot of us think we're making good coffee, but after having tasted properly brewed coffee, we're really not. We're really not making great coffee.
Right.
So anyways,
there is
that's
a
my
lot
little
of traffic going by right now.
Yeah, this is like rush hour at King of the Hammers. So anyways, that's my little nugget of information for you guys on this one. Brew some delicious coffee. If you have any more questions, drop us a line. I'll help you out. I'll do my best. And if not, talk to the guys at Steelhead. They were super friendly, and they're always willing to help. So give them a shout.
Dude, this is so cool. I'm so stoked that we're doing this like on location.
Yep, on the side of the road.
Right on time. That is awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yep, on the side of the road.
I mean, like, if you've never been and you've never experienced anything like this, like, you got to come one time.
Yeah.
And actually don't do what we did and get here late.
Right.
Because I feel like we missed a lot.
Yeah, we did. We got here way too late. I mean,
a whole lot,
we were also coming for like a mission to pick up Kate, and you know, it's partially my fault because, man, it's been a long day. It's been a long day.
Hey, man, I had a lot of work that I had to get through too. But just the fact that it's as fun as it is, late at night after the racing's over,
it is kind of crazy how entertaining it still is. Like, it's, you know, everything's done. There's really nothing happening right now. I mean, it's just kind of party time, and there's just this stream of traffic. Like, one of the guys here at Rebel told us, he goes, you know what? One of the funnest things to do is just set up a table on the side of the road and just watch. Grab your beer and just watch. And you know what? He's dead on. Some of these rigs it's like a parade. Like you know what it's like? The Newport or Dana Point boat parade.
Right. Yeah, totally. I mean, the amount of money I've just watched go by
exactly.
is like in the millions of dollars, right? Like
trophy
in this short period of time that we've been here.
Yeah, it's just it's bananas. I mean, even the amount of money in LED lights alone is insane.
Speaking of which, my Jeep was at the KC booth. Did we mention that? I don't think we did. We did?
A little bit.
Yeah, so you guys should check them out. That is an actual plug right there.
Yeah. Yeah, we're both running KC lights.
You've got the cool light bar.
Yeah.
You got that cool. I love your light bar covers, the LED covers.
Yeah.
The Pac-Man.
The Pac-Man. Yeah.
Dude, that is. Yeah, and that's like a one of a kind piece, right?
Yeah. I had those made. Actually, the guys that made them are right here next to Rebel, Gator Wraps. So you know, the KC light covers, they're just round, right? They're just like these round like covers that go over the Gravity Pro 6s. And actually, it was my wife's idea. I'm not even gonna take credit. It was my wife's idea. She's like, you should make that Pac-Man because they're round, and you know, Pac-Man's round, and it just fits perfect. So I went over to them and I was like, hey, can you put Pac-Man on these things? And I want them like kind of semi-pixelated, right, to give it like that super retro look. And I want a cherry because there's got to be some fruit on there, right? It's Pac-Man. And then the little KC logos, they made them small white, like little pellets.
Yep.
The pellets that you chase down.
I love it. I'd steal it, but
it turns a lot of heads for sure.
I ended up going a different direction.
That's a Truckee original right there.
What's the last? I guess the last thing that as far as trips go, that I had was one thing I want to say real quick is the standout at your event was a few things for me at the OC Rigs.
Yeah.
One was a group of XKs.
Oh,
which
right.
I had never seen anyone build up
the Jeep
XKs
Commanders
that way.
Yeah, the Jeep Commanders.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah, those were pretty rad.
So there were like three main ones. Yep. It was like wild to mild the way that the mods were on these guys.
Yeah. They had the full spectrum, all around, all lined up right there.
Yeah, and so it definitely kind of painted them in a new light for me. And then at the very tail end, there was a Nissan Patrol.
The Nissan Patrol. Yeah,
that thing was awesome.
Yeah, I actually posted a picture of that already.
Didn't you say that thing was fairly recent, as far as
It was a 1980.
Yeah, 1980. That's fairly recent.
Yeah, he was telling me that they actually, when Nissan started making them in 1965, and that they never changed the body. They didn't change anything. So from 1965 to 1980, the Nissan Patrol is unchanged. It's the same thing. Yeah, so except for some emissions equipment that comes on the later 70s versions and up. So yeah, it was It was good. That thing was cool.
I think it was really cool.
It turned a ton of heads. It had an instant circle around it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't think anyone there had seen a Nissan Patrol in person.
I felt bad for the Land
FJ40.
Cruiser.
Yeah, the FJ40
right next to him, which
Yeah.
was also a very cool rig, and I always appreciate those. My buddy Matt, he's got a
cool one, yeah.
bomb FJ
Yeah.
that he's put a lot of time and money into. So I've definitely got appreciation for those guys, but that Patrol was something like
Yeah,
you
the
don't
green
see
one
every
was
day.
there for a while, and then the Patrol rolled up, and the mob just shifted. Just whoosh.
Poor guy.
Yeah, and the crazy part was the guy that was driving it. I mean, he was there all of I think 20 minutes. I think he was
He came
literally
in,
there for coffee.
Swooped all the glory and left.
Yeah, he
Thanks,
just
dude.
Sucked it all up. I'm
The
out.
FJ guy was like, "Fuck you, thanks for nothing."
All these cameras came
Goodbye.
out. It was like the red carpet. All these cameras came out. There's Nissan Patrols there showing leg, and then and then he takes off. I'm out.
No, dude. I mean, the turnouts at this event is definitely increasing in both quality and quantity.
Oh,
it's so cool to see the community that's getting built.
I say it over and over again that the really cool part about OC Rigs and Coffee is not so much even the quantity, even though we get an awesome turnout. It's the range. You get such a giant variety of rigs that show up. We get all kinds of crazy stuff all the time.
Yep,
I've
seen it.
We get old Chevy square bodies. We get Land Cruisers, Land Rovers, International Scouts. We get Subies, Raptors, FJ Cruisers, FJ40s, FJ whatevers.
It's a non-segregation zone.
It's crazy.
Yep.
We get the full range, so it's pretty cool.
They've got the Rangers on patrol out here.
These guys are. There's the fifth
these
one
guys
that's gone by.
circle around pretty consistent. I guess you gotta kind of keep tabs around here, right?
Yeah. I would imagine that an event this size can get out of hand pretty quick if you don't nip it in the bud.
Oh yeah, for sure. So one last thing I kind of did was I think I touched on it episode 1, but I had done part of the Mojave Road.
Oh yeah, yep.
And I had to cut my time on that road short because everybody was finishing it up on that following Monday, and I had to be at work.
Right.
So,
that was the one. That was for those that follow even Brad, right?
Yep.
Those are the
Trail
ones.
Recon.
Yeah,
So that
Trail
was with
Recon.
Trail Recon, Overland X, Venture the Wild, SoCal, Ruby, who else? And then American Overland, of course.
Yeah. That's the one that everyone saw where they got snowed on.
So they all finished on Monday except for Rob, Venture the Wild. We came back because he lost his rear left shock. So I decided to cut my time short and just make sure he got back safe. So we came back most of the way. But, seeing the pictures afterwards from Brad or Eric, I was just like, man, I wish I would have finished.
Yeah, there's definitely it's
Total FOMO.
It's an experience. Yeah, it's an experience to do the whole thing. It's kind of like I don't want to say a rite of passage because it's not ritualistic in that way, but you definitely got to do the whole thing. If you leave halfway,
if you're gonna do it, you got to finish it.
You leave with this feeling that it's incomplete, it's undone.
Right. So the timing was perfect with SHOT Show because on the way back, I'm like, oh look, it's Baker, and that's exactly where I ended my
where you
original
jumped off, yeah.
part of the trip. I might as well just get back on
Solo, by the way.
solo
By yourself, yeah.
So disclosure, or not even disclosure, disclaimer: don't go solo. And if you go, you may end up with a really fun story like I have, or it could end in disaster. So it's up to you, I guess. Go, you should do it. I don't care.
I mean, what happened? Did you get stuck?
No.
Did
no, I
you
didn't.
get flooded on the river
I
crossing?
almost got flooded. I
Okay.
decided to take a detour.
Oh, okay.
But okay, so
Did you? I mean, what?
here's
what
the
happened?
issue.
I mean, did you get?
I actually, and this, here comes another plug.
Okay.
But I haven't had a lift solution
It was a Kia Soul.
on the Jeep. So the entire story of being ready for anything, I think the one thing that could take me up possibly, because I still have a jack.
Right.
It's not
right.
the best jack. And I'm sure I could find a rock to put that jack on top of. Still, less than optimal
Yeah,
situation.
definitely sketchy.
So as I'm driving through the Mojave Road and finishing this last 54 miles or whatever it was.
Oh, that's still a good stretch, dude.
That was a solid stretch.
That's a solid stretch still.
Okay, full disclosure, I thought I only had 20 miles. Okay? It ended up being 50 miles. 54 miles. And I'm
Minor miscalculation.
This is a... What's
up,
up,
guys? The night is going awesome. How about you guys?
Doing very well, enjoying it.
Awesome. We're getting people just stopping by now. They're getting.
We got a lot of people out here who want to be part of the conversation. Wish they weren't driving by. I let them talk.
Totally.
Anyways, so where were we?
You underestimated.
54 miles, not 20
Yeah.
miles, and some of the rougher terrain of the entire trail.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's flat out.
That's,
Like so.
I mean, that's yeah.
So I think I went through like 3 different like actual terrains, like 4
Absolutely.
maybe.
I mean, that's the cool thing. I mean, personally, that's my favorite part of the Mojave Road, right? You hear people talk about it, and they talk about it to death. I think sometimes, I think it maybe sometimes gets a little overhyped, but there's a reason for that, and it's that my absolute favorite thing about the Mojave Road is the insane amount of terrain that you cover.
Right.
The range is crazy. You go from like just regular desert, kind of soft dirt, to shale, to rock garden, to mountainous, to
Right.
desert, to dunes.
Okay, well, exactly right. So on the first leg, the first time, like, you know, when I went with Brad and the gang, it snowed.
Right.
So we weren't even expecting snow, but we were at like 5,000 plus feet, and it ended up, the rain that we were expecting ended up being snow, which was awesome. We woke up to like 3 or 4
it's like
inches
a
of snow.
winter
the next
wonderland
day.
in the
Yeah, it was
middle
awesome.
of the Mojave Road.
So if I was to take that experience and then consider the terrain that I encountered on the second part by myself, so I went through the lake bed, basically a massive salt flat, awesome, and then are we about to get gassed out right now?
I think we're about to get gassed out.
They just put a
smoke bomb.
an orange smoke bomb. Yeah.
Out in front of the Rebel truck. He's dropping orange smoke
Oh
bombs.
man, that stinks.
That's so bad.
That's so bad.
We're getting gassed out. Holy crap! That's not
Thanks for nothing.
That's not even an exaggeration. Like I can't see anything.
That's so bad.
I can't see shit.
It smells. It's sulfur, right? Like
Yeah, it
it's
smells
so bad. Okay.
Oh, thanks,
Well,
Evan. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Evan.
Appreciate it.
Good marketing. Orange smoke for Rebel. Yes, I see it.
The trials and tribulations of doing a podcast on location.
Yeah.
I do still think it's a good idea, but I definitely have moments like this where I question our
Yeah.
judgment.
We should have maybe done it from across the road.
Right.
Anyway, so yeah, longer than expected, but amazing. Went through the lake bed. It was like I said, it was like a salt flat, and that was just the expanse of it was just amazing. The photos came out like awesome,
Yeah.
and I was just like hauling ass through that whole stretch, and then as soon as you get through that, you basically end up in sand dunes.
Right.
Like
Yep.
proper sand dunes, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. So again, that was an opportunity to get out and take some pictures, and then from there ended up at a water crossing.
Right. The famous.
that was
the famous
not gonna
water crossing.
happen.
Yeah. The famous water crossing.
I've got a series of wiring that comes through the floorboard, and I'm pretty sure the amount of RTV that I've applied around the cables and that grommet
Yeah.
is solid, and it would have been fine. But I wasn't really ready to test it out in a nasty, muddy bog of a water
And
crossing.
that water, I mean,
Yeah,
for
it
the
was
most
so
part,
gross.
is pretty stagnant. So it does.
Pretty stagnant, yeah.
It's one of those things where if it does get into your vehicle, you have to like strip it out because it stinks.
Oh yeah. So that's where kind of
Strip
like
it
the
out.
adventure piece kind of started. So up to that point, it was a lot of fun, and the
Yeah.
the entire road was fun. So don't get me
Totally.
wrong, but up to that point, it was just fun. Like, oh cool, I'm on this road, like whatever. It wasn't until I got to the water crossing where I'm like, oh, there's some things where I have to like make decisions,
Yes.
where I gotta kind of consider my options.
Yes.
And I think, when we're with a big group, those kind of decision making moments.
They kind of get made for you, right? Or at least as a collective saying,
Yeah, they happen
I've got
collectively.
experience. Maybe you shouldn't go, or you should go this way.
You've got 8 brains
go for it.
working
Right,
versus
exactly.
1 brain.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying I'm always the best brain, you know? So I get to the water crossing, and it was kind of like as if you're like getting into a pool. Like I stuck the toe in, I got the wheels in.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, that looks okay. And then I went in a little bit further, and I was up to the bomber sliders, and I was like, oh, it's kind of, I'm only like 5 feet in, and the water's kind of like right up to my sliders. Okay.
Right.
So is this the limit, or is it going to get deeper?
Oh, it gets deeper.
And then I busted out my phone and I started scrolling through images because they had posted photos of themselves going through the water crossing when they did it.
Right.
I'm like, how far did they go? And
Right.
And then I remembered this image of Marco basically airing out his entire floorboard of his vehicle. I'm like, I don't think I'm ready.
Is his Jeep higher than yours?
I don't know. And
Yeah.
I wasn't ready to like
Well, I mean, and, I get it.
discover.
I get it. Kate's pretty new, right? So there's still like some figuring out, and there's still some,
And my
some-
amps on the
like
floor.
Your amps bolted to the floor, so
Not
probably
a good idea. I
yeah,
mean, even when I wanted to do it, like I'm like, I don't want anything to the floor, and then it's like, I don't have any space for where anything else should go.
Yeah.
So I kind of, I'm starting to find spots where I'm like, okay, you know what?
You can
if I
relocate,
redo this,
yeah.
I'm gonna relocate higher, because I don't want the limiting factor of what I do to be, oh, I've got an amp on the floor. That was
Right.
not part of like the original plan.
right.
I'm thankful for that amp, and I'm thankful for what I got in the Jeep, but definitely did not want that to dictate
And
the adventure.
That's actually a really good point, because that happens even to everybody, right? I mean, like as I'm kind of building out the FJ and making changes to the FJ, there's been many times that I've tried something and then come back after using it and moved it around or
Right.
put it somewhere else altogether. Like that's going to happen,
Well, you live and learn.
Yeah, you live and learn, and that's kind of like that's kind of part of the adventure, right? Is kind of experimenting with how you organize your equipment and your gear and moving it around, optimizing every single time. So, yeah.
Well, this water crossing was
you're
like
fine.
100, like a little bit over 100 feet, I'd say.
Oh, okay.
And fairly deep. I mean, like I said, just like 5 feet in, it was up
And-
to like the bottom of my sliders. So
And it does get pretty decent depth, and also that was like just after some really decent rains. Like we had just received some good amount of rain
Yep,
the week
yep.
before, so I think right now it's pretty fairly deep.
I think my decision to kind of get around it was the right one. The way I went about it probably wasn't the right one, and I won't even go into detail. Let's just say I bypassed it. And if you've ever been on that trail and you've gone through that water crossing,
yeah,
you've got a couple options of how to bypass it.
right.
And I did the one you don't want to talk about. All right, we'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that.
Okay? And we'll leave it at the fact that
Oh, here comes the parade.
another reason of wanting to go with a group of people.
Yep, here comes a
Because
serious parade though. The
At,
Jeeps.
at one point, I thought I was stuck on the crossing.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Oh, dude,
Look at that.
I just watched a guy pass another guy, and there's like no need for that on this road.
Oh, there really isn't. There really isn't.
This road's like at max like a 2-car road, and everybody's
Also-
going in the same place. So
Also, you're not getting anywhere in here fast, so
Right.
you can just give that up right now. Like, there's way too many people here. So,
oh, check out this.
oh, that thing's crazy.
Oh, that thing's bad.
So next to the road, there's like a unofficial road, and the ranger is kind of going up and down that section. But apparently, he has no problem with people that are capable going down it either. So, which is kind of cool. But it's
Yeah.
a section of whoops, and some of these trucks that are
just
definitely
flying
well
through
built,
it.
yeah, they just fly through it, and it's cool. It's like your own little like window into who's got the most badass suspension.
Yeah. So all right. So I'll wrap this up. Basically, the bypass on the water crossing was pretty sketch. Got through it. One of those things that kind of stood out, like it would have been good with another person just in case the worst happened. The end of the road, I followed the lake bed or the riverbed. Pretty much for most of the duration. Some of the most amazing scenery. You really get transported somewhere else. You're
Oh,
not
yeah.
in just the desert.
Which is the crazy part too, is that if you look at the Mojave Road on a map, you're really not that far from civilization. Like a highway is maybe a half hour away at any given point, right? Because there's so many different like intersections and roads that kind of cross through it. So the remoteness that you feel for something like that is impressive. It's cool. It's a really cool road, and I'm glad that it stands and is like a thing.
Right. What was actually kind of cool is the end of that road took me kind of full circle. I was back in Yermo.
Yep.
Which is where basically we started with the Calico trip. So
right.
I did stop at Eddie World. That was like my first stop.
you made your pit stop.
Yeah, so good times, man. I mean, honestly, truth be told, I don't condone anyone making bad decisions, but I don't really believe that it was a bad decision. I think it was part of the adventure that I signed up for.
Yeah.
To get out there. Now, could I be more prepared? Yeah. So I've got Safe Jack sending me out a jack right now. Their general jack, which should give me up to a 6-inch extension off their normal like bottle jack that they have.
Right.
And that'll be it. That's it. That's kind of like and I need fuel, so I need to get some, whether it's rotos or jerry cans or whatever.
Yeah.
I do need fuel because one of the big fears of the Mojave Road was the running out of fuel. And if you've got modifications like I do, you're running on 37-inch tires. You've got a supercharger.
Yep.
And you like the skinny pedal, you're gonna probably end up needing gas.
Absolutely.
So, I ended up cutting it short on the first half. I got lucky. We were right at Baker, was able to gas up. But given that we had 54 more miles to go, I don't think I would have made it. So, just FYI.
Yeah, when I did it in the FJ doesn't have a large fuel tank. I mean, it's got 19 gallons. I made it through just fine.
Yeah.
I did the whole thing from the Colorado River in Nevada all the way to the campground, and it was. I think I still had just about a quarter tank by the end.
I think I was at 70 miles left.
Oh yeah, that's cutting a little
first,
close.
Like 75 or something from where we like departed. So
I don't think the gas station is that far, but still, I wouldn't. I'm not.
I
wouldn't be comfortable with 70 miles left at the end.
Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry, you might have noticed the sound suddenly changed a little.
You took a little break.
Nature called. Rebel is throwing an awesome party, and they've got a keg.
Yeah,
a couple.
they're supplying us pretty well. So.
Yeah. So.
And it's also cold out here. It's pretty chilly.
Oh my God, I'm wearing gloves and my hands are frozen.
Yeah, my gloves.
Yeah. Actually, thank God Frank had these. I have very poor circulation.
I'm still like on Canada temperature.
That's right. You just got back from Canada.
Yeah. So that's part of the reason why we got here late, because I flew home from Canada this morning from Ottawa, which is a pretty far flight. And so basically flew home, packed up the FJ real quick, and then drove here. So it was like -5 or -10 in Ottawa, and we had like freezing rain. So I'm still like I'm actually not that cold right now. but anyways.
Anyway, so one thing that we talked about briefly after our first episode, and thought we'd bring it into this one, was there's a lot of gear on your rigs, right? Like,
yes.
Or you guys aspire to have a lot of gear on your rigs.
Yes.
And I feel like one cool thing that we could bring to this episode is talking about like one piece of gear that's either installed on our rig or a part of what we take with us.
Right.
So do you have one of those?
Yeah, I do actually. It's something that I picked up. It's not a cheap part. I probably wouldn't say it's the most necessary part, but it's the one that actually in like the last month I've used the most.
Okay.
And I picked it up at the Front Runner Scratch and Dent event that they had.
It's right here.
We're using it right now.
Yeah,
actually.
we're using it right now.
So I got one of their stainless steel tables
Dude,
that goes
awesome. Yeah.
under the rack. It mounts to the underside of the rack, and so I mean I pulled the trigger for two reasons, right? One, the biggest reason is, as I'm sure all of you guys listening know, space is at a premium, right? Like.
Right.
You know, I've experimented with other tables, smaller tables, and I do have a really cool small table that I like, but it's just too small. It's good for, small things. I needed like a prep table, like a really decent sized heavy duty table, but carrying something like that is a pain, man. Like, it eats up so much real estate inside the rig or on the roof rack. It's just a hassle. This thing slides in under the roof rack, which is totally wasted space.
Yep.
Right. Otherwise. So it's perfect. It fits under the roof rack. It tucks away.
It's pretty awesome.
Dead
Yeah.
silent when it's down there.
I'm a little jealous of this.
It locks. I can lock it, and it just slides in and slides out. I don't even know it's there. And you know what? Since I've installed it, it's the one thing that I've used basically every single week. Like it's gotten more use than anything else on the truck
remember,
right now.
guys, he paid for it. He's not sponsored
That's right.
by Frontrunner.
Yeah, no, I went to the scratch and dent sale and I bought it.
Yeah. So I hope you guys know some of these parts that we talk about, as long as they're coming from Frank, are genuine. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I am sponsored by a lot of people, but my reviews are also genuine.
Can you tell that he likes to rub that in?
I definitely chose the companies I ended up working with. They have to represent a certain quality,
rolled.
given that they had to represent 511 as well. Oh.
Yep, someone's getting rolled.
That's some kind of like military six-wheel vehicle that's getting pulled over right now. Sorry, guys. Yeah,
they're not getting
there's
a hint
some
either.
activity going on in front of us.
It's like Cops, like an episode of Cops right now, right? We need the Cops like soundtrack,
Yeah, seriously.
right? It's like happening right now.
Oh, dude, he straight up got pulled over.
Yeah, he's getting out. This is Cop, Mr. Ranger's not happy.
He's straight up doing like license and registration.
Yeah, I don't know how that works out here though, because
I don't
you're
know
like,
if you register that kind of thing.
I know, yeah, you're not on a road. Most of these things aren't even street
But
legal.
isn't this kind of considered like? Do you still need a permit for like whatever you're driving out here or what?
I don't think so. I mean, some of these have to be registered, right? Like some of these ATVs and stuff like that. But they have to be like
There's a lot
stickered.
of booze going on, so who knows?
I think that might be the problem.
This place is like one big off-road party.
Yeah. So, anyways, we'll check back on that and see if anyone's getting put in the back of the car. But Ollie, what's your favorite piece of kit lately?
So, yeah, it's a tough one, but I think like on Brad's video, I call that the free spirit tent because everyone gets to like, the kids love it.
Yeah.
But I was thinking of something else that like is also like super valuable to me, and I think it's like more easily attainable for the average like person. So
Right.
if you guys don't have an in-vehicle fridge, you're missing out.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Because I have a cooler and I like it.
No,
I
look,
thoroughly enjoy my cooler.
what is that, a Yeti?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've got nothing but love for your Yeti, buddy.
No, but I'm just curious. Like, what?
So here's the
what
thing.
makes it different? Like, where is the line that says this is like the game changer?
I'm out there for 3 days, and things are just as cold as when I left the house.
Yeah.
And I can carry I can take like raw meat with me on the trail, and not worry about when I cook it.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, check this out. So I went with Brad and them, and I cooked Persian barbecue, basically chicken kebabs for like everybody on the trail. Well, I also went to SHOT Show, so I was gone for like 7 days,
Right.
and I had bought the meat that
You,
day
wait,
prior.
you took the raw meat with you to SHOT Show?
I took the raw meat. Yeah, it stayed in the fridge. It stayed in the fridge, and so by the time I got home, I cooked it up.
That's hilarious.
It was still good.
You're like, your car is parked in the garage at Vegas, and it's just like got a bunch of meat back there.
Dude, it was awesome.
That's awesome.
So for me, it's like the fridge is key because the kids keep their like milk in there.
Right.
There's like snacks and food for me and the wife. I got my booze in there, of course. I'm not an alcoholic, I swear.
I swear.
Oh, I swear. And like, drinks. The drinks for the kids as well.
Yeah,
like, so it's a great thing for me to have on the weekends, not when we're overlanding, just going to like baseball games or what have you.
Yeah, I've actually heard that portion from a few people that do have fridges that they end up using them like in their daily lives. Like they'll go to the store and they'll buy some, refrigerated products or whatnot, and something comes up and there's a relief that they don't have to go straight home. They've got a fridge in the back of their truck and they just throw stuff in there.
I mean, so the biggest thing you have to like just be concerned of, and I've got the dual battery kit thing going, but it does draw power.
Oh,
and so
totally,
if you're parked for a long period of time and you're not recharging that battery, you can have some issues.
Yeah.
So there's a constant draw, but the draw is really low.
Does
So-
Kate have solar?
My drive to work and back from work home takes care of all my charging.
Oh, okay.
That thing's been running like nonstop for months.
Wow.
Like, I think we're on like 6 or 7 months now.
That's pretty
With the
good.
fridge, yeah,
That's
it's awesome.
pretty good.
And if I'm going somewhere for a long term, I bust out the solar panels
Yeah.
and I'm good.
All right. Oh, that's right. You do have that. Those foldable ones.
The off-grid truck ones, yeah.
Yeah, those things are
The
cool.
blankets? Yeah, the
that
blankets
thing
are
is cool.
awesome. We could talk about those another time. But anyways, yeah, the fridge. So it's a 42-liter Snowmaster fridge. They've been nothing but massively supportive on the project.
That's awesome.
And just great people to work with. And I think we may be doing something with them doing Overland West with 511. So stay tuned. There's going to be some cool collaborations happening, possibly with KC as well. So we'll see where that all goes. But come May, the weekend of May 18th, 19th, we'll be at Overland West.
Yep.
With 511.
Yep.
Kate will be out there. Come see me. I might even try to do a little bit of the podcast on my own, and I don't know how it's exactly going to work, but me and Frank will figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure something out.
But yeah, good stuff. So what else? Is this it?
I think so. I don't want to drag it on for the sake of dragging it on.
How long has it dragged on so far?
We definitely should give a big thanks to our sponsor.
Sure. Rig Supply. So last time we talked about their Ultra Swing
Yes.
and the Forerunners.
Yes.
Since then, they've come out with something cool.
Yeah, they've got a new goodie. It's a universal fit.
Right.
So no longer. We actually literally said that, and we didn't even know that they were coming out with this new one. But that was one of the comments that we said. We had like Forerunner envy, right, in that moment.
They're like, they should make something for us, and they did.
Little did we know that they actually are. They've got this universal one now, so that gives options to a much wider range of vehicles. You can throw it on some SUVs, and it has room for the hatches to open. And all that kind of stuff. I was skimming through some of the comments because they were answering a bunch of questions on their Instagram account regarding the swing out, and it seemed to be compatible with just about any SUV body style.
Right.
So definitely check it out. Another cool thing, by the way, which I didn't know. Like I knew that they were adding stuff to the swing out, but it's a system now. Like it's an ecosystem that they're kind of building around this thing, and they've partnered with Rego Fabrication,
Right.
and they've got this jack mount now that goes on it, and this the Molly panel on the back. Like this thing is really turning into
a full modular system.
Totally, a full modular system without if you don't. Yes.
That was the most obnoxious thing.
That was highly unnecessary.
And I kind of want that on my rig too. But
yeah, we just got horn blast.
Not in my ear.
We just got a train horn blast.
All we're waiting for is the diesel guy to come by and
right.
Yeah, blow coal.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, anyways, they're doing some really cool stuff over at Rig Supply. This thing is turning into like a whole project and like I said, ecosystem. Like it's getting accessories and different attachments and customizations that you can do. So it's it's getting to the point, I think, where you no longer, if you have to buy this giant bumper system to mount all your stuff, if you don't want to, right? Or if you just have a steel bumper and you don't have a swing out, you can option one in. You can attach it to that.
Right. I'm going to assume I just heard everything you said because my ears are still ringing from that guy. Like, that was so ridiculous. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, that is a very cool thing that they are building, and a company that's truly rooted in Overland, and a lot of love for the off-road, and just a couple of solid dudes like carving out their own little piece.
Yeah,
so,
check them out.
Nothing but love for those guys. Yeah. And I think I said plenty about KC. Yeah, we love KC.
Yeah, we do.
Highly recommend KC, and we run them. And they work amazing.
Yeah, we run. I've got it on Truckee. I've got the Gravity Pro 6 Series on Truckee. Love those things. Can't wait to put some more lights on there. I think ditch lights are next.
Yeah, but hey, if you've lasted this long and you've stuck with us, thank you.
Props to you.
We truly appreciate it, and really hope that you guys continue to support. Send in comments.
Yeah.
Comment. Let us know what you think. Tell us what you think could be better. Tell us what we're doing right. Tell us what we're doing wrong. I don't care.
Absolutely. We're here. I mean, at the end of the day, we're doing this for you guys, right? To get you guys some information, some content. Hopefully you enjoy it, and you can take something from it. And also, the last bit, if you do like it, go on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play,
friends.
Whatever, and rate. Give us those 5 stars. Leave your review. It's hugely beneficial to the podcast to get those reviews in. So that's
repost our posts.
yeah, and tell your friends,
Tell your
right? So we
friends.
can keep doing this.
So yeah, this is Ali at Kate the Jeep.
And this is Frank at Trucky McTruckface
Thank you for hanging with us.
at King of the Hammers.